What's up, guys? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to PXA Peeks at Cublast HD. This comes to us from a small team in the Netherlands known as ThinkFast Studio, and it's a pretty interesting, rather minimalist, at least visually, puzzle game. It was actually originally a mobile title. The mobile version is available for free now on iOS, Android, and I think possibly Windows Phone as well. And they decided to sort of blow it out and make it into a full-priced PC game on Steam. It's also coming to the Xbox One in 2018. And I had no expectations for this. The devs reached out to me with a review code, and I'd never heard of it or anything about it, and I purposely didn't look up anything on it before I started playing it. And it's pretty cool, actually. It gets really devilish later. It's kind of kicking the snot out of me right now. But there's a lot here for a $10 package, and I actually really dig the sort of minimalist style to it as well. So this game, the PC version at least, does have a single-player mode. It has a co-op and a versus mode, local only. Unfortunately, I don't have the means to test either of those right now, though I could see this in co-op being quite devilish. It's also got a fully featured level editor with Steam Workshop support and actually some really, really cool community levels, which we're going to go into a little bit later on. I messed with these a little bit last night. It's pretty cool. So I'm just going to go back to the beginning here and show you this. You can see there's all these different level sections here, and there is one at the end that says is under construction, which I assume is DLC, hopefully free, but I'm not sure. It does have gated progression, which kind of, that's not my favorite thing in the world, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So I'm going to start right here at the beginning so you guys can sort of see the idea here. So as you can see from the get-go here, this has a sort of very zen presentation style. It's this very high contrast color thing. It's very sort of nice, sort of chill ambient music. This game, they boast an adaptive soundtrack with it, which I'm not quite sure how they mean by that exactly, but apparently the soundtrack does change depending on how you're playing. And it's a very simplistic presentation, but I really like it, actually. I really like the stark contrast of it. I really like, you know, simplistic visuals are often very nice, especially when they have a real sense of polish to them. You know, something can be very minimalist and still have a very acute sense of style, and this definitely has that. I quite like it. And you're sort of seeing the idea here. You're basically playing a ball. There's no story or anything to this whatsoever. It's just a straight-up puzzle game. And you're playing this ball, and your goal is to get yourself to the end of the level. That's your core goal. But what you want to do as well is pick up, if possible, all of what's called the blast points in a level, which are those little pink squares there. And those blast points are what ultimately is going to give you the blast point score that you need to unlock the later levels. Now, you guys have heard me talk about gated progression before. That's really not my jam. I'm really not a fan of not being able to experience content until I played the other stuff so many times over that I perfected it. I don't know how stringent the gated progression is. So far, it hasn't been too bad for me. I've managed to get through to the third level and I perfected everything. But in the third, not the third level, but sort of the third world, stuff gets very tricky very quick. So you can see here, this is where things start to mix up a little bit. You can have the sort of gravity get inverted, and there are a lot of other things later that you'll see in the level editor. There's clearly a lot of objects and level items that I haven't seen yet because I haven't gotten all the way through the game. Alright, so we're going to do that. So the way this works is the only control you have over your ball is the ability to roll it and the ability to jump. And you can double jump off of another object. So you can't double jump in the air, but if you touch an object and press the button, you'll do like that. So you sort of see that, so you can sort of double jump off of things there, but you can only... double jump is your only option, so you have to make sure to utilize that and not touch the spikes, you know, duh. So you have to make sure to you know, maximize the capabilities of your jumps, and that will be, jumping at the right time will become very, very key in this, especially in the later levels. The later levels in this definitely require a lot of precision, a lot of pretty exact timing, and you will fail a lot and have to restart a lot. But the thing that I really like about this... Sorry, my dog is playing with a toy and is... Right. of course, he decides to squeak while I'm recording, because, why not? So, yeah, you will die a lot in this game. You will be replaying levels frequently. But what's nice about it is that you can see here, it's a minimal style, so there's no load times, there's no long period of waiting between levels. If you fail, you just hit the button and you're off and running again. You can restart midway if you want, if you feel like you've missed things. Like, I've finished this level before, so I don't actually need all the blast points, but I must... Oh, okay, right, there's another one down here. That's how it works. There we go, and you get there. Oddly enough, you're like suiciding your ball when you get to the end, which I find a little strange, but... And you see here, your score is determined based on the number of blast points that you acquired, as well as the time it takes to finish the level. Every level has leaderboards, which is very nice, and they plug in a very slick fashion, so you can look through everything here, and you can see the profiles of everyone who's played before you. In addition, of course, you can do the awesome things of checking replays. I love games that record replays, so you can watch the real crazy level play in this thing. This is a leaderboard that focuses only on speed, which I think is very cool. There doesn't seem to be a way, though, to have it zip up right to the top, which is kind of a bummer. It focuses on your own score, and if you want to get to the top, you got to kind of go all the way up there. But you see, you can hit a replay. I got an achievement called You Jealous. Sports? Yeah, that got... Wow, okay. So, yeah, and you see that guy had a different color there, so there are hidden objects throughout the levels that you can pick up that will unlock different cosmetic customization options, which is kind of nice. There's no microtransactions in this, there's nothing like that, and the only unlocks you get are purely cosmetic, allows you to basically change the color scheme of the levels and your ball and things like that. So, pretty straightforward. So there's the beginner stuff. So I've already gotten through that. And you're going to see here, so there's easy, normal, and I'm sure this is like hard, very hard, you're an idiot, you're the suicidal, and I don't know what. So, but you can see here by taking a look at this just how much more complicated this gets. So, I played this on stream a little bit the night before I recorded it, and I was bending my brain quite a bit, let me put it that way. So you see you've got a jump pad there, so I get up there, hit that, boom. And then this will kick me up here. Whoops. Nope. So I got to kick up there. There we go. So I need to push this guy down. So you see you have these little blocks that you can push. Whoa, jeez. And I want to get him over this block, which will unlock that door. And then I got to reverse my thing here. So there's another... I need to get the block on this thing. So... I've already gotten this level perfect, so as you see, I can bail out there if I like, but because I don't have both blast points, my rank in the world is also not that fantastic. So you see here's the stage rewards. This is for the whole area, so you see there's a hidden artifact. Community slots, which I'm not entirely sure what a community slot is, but you unlock that by finishing it, and then the completion artifact as well, so. And we're going to zip over here, and here we are on the next thing. So, you're getting the idea here. I mean, what I like about this is very much an easy-to-learn, hard-to-master game. I could sit just about anyone down in front of this, including someone who's never touched a game before in their life, and be like, look, here's how you roll the ball, here's how you jump, those are your controls, go. And they'll figure it out. You know, there is technically a tutorial mission. This is the bit that keeps screwing me up, because I keep trying to make that jump, and then I get hosed there. I'm not entirely sure what I have to do there, but... I see, so these blocks do this, where if you touch them, they disappear. And there's a bunch of other items that come into play in later levels. But I really like the fact that this doesn't have a tutorial that acutely explains anything to you, and that it doesn't have to, which is something that I really like. You can just sit down, pick this up, play it, away you go. But it gets devilishly hard later on, but it builds up very slowly. So even that unskilled player, dang it, will... not have a really hard time. They will have a ramp up, and this will get to the point where it's challenging. You know, people who don't like difficult games will probably burn out and go, I'm done with this. But it ramps you up and introduces you to the mechanics slowly enough that you don't have to be a hardcore gamer to play this. The mobile version was very much the same way. The controls on the mobile version being touch and accelerometer based were definitely not as precise. I'm playing this game with a controller, but you can play it with the keyboard just fine because, I mean, it's, you know, it's left, right, jump. Those are your keys, right? So, or your controls. So it really doesn't matter which way you play it. I do like having an analog stick. I think it does make the rolling a little bit more precise, but I did beat most of the first world with a keyboard, and it was no big deal. So you could definitely play this either way, and though this game is 3D DirectX based, it's probably doesn't have a very high footprint. It is Unity, and you guys know my feelings on Unity when it comes to performance requirements, so I can't say for sure how well this will run on a lower end system, but probably, you know, you probably don't need a behemoth to play this thing, that's for sure. And yeah, this is kind of the meat of it. I mean, it's very simplistic in nature, and I'm not the world's biggest puzzle game guy purely because I'm not good at them. But I found this really enjoyable because it moves very quick. You know, there's no long restart. The levels are not very long, so if you screw something up, you don't feel like you just wasted half your day and that you have to go and do it again. And it just doesn't feel high pressure. You know, a while ago I looked at Road to Valhalla, which was not bad, certainly not, but that game got very stressful because of the nature of how it played. It was a good puzzle game. It was well made, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it was very stressful, and I couldn't play it for very long before I just get like, oh, I can't do this anymore because I'm starting to fail levels more often because I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting annoyed, and I don't really get that feeling with this. Even when I'm failing at it repeatedly, I don't find myself tensing up. I don't find myself getting frustrated. And I think a lot of that comes down to this very zen electronic score it has and this very high contrast, simplistic visual style. Like, it's almost mirrors edgy in a way. And I am really bad at this. And I like that. I really do like this sort of simplistic, high contrast art style when it's used well. And a lot of games try it and don't pull it off, but I think this one did. And this game was actually developed by a very young group of people. The ThinkFast Studio was founded by a group of students, actually, and Cublast, the mobile version, was their first project, and I believe they were still in school when they did it. And so it's still a very young, budding group of designers who clearly have some talent, both in terms of visual design and in terms of puzzle and mechanical design, because they made something that was you know, on the surface very simple, but can provide many hours of enjoyment. And there we go. All right. And I hosed it up again. All right, we done with that. And this PC version in particular has some really cool elements that they've added to it that I think definitely make it worth the $10 entry. One of which is the level editor. So you saw there, you can create a level in both single player or co-op or versus. It's up to you. This editor, as you can see here, is very simple. So it's got all the different elements that are in the game. So like gravity cube, physics cube, text elements, area trigger. These are things I haven't seen yet in the main game. But you can sort of play around with this. You can make a level, and you see you can sort of expand it out by just hitting the borders, and it sort of scales the level automatically so that you're not building a play area full of extra stuff that you don't need. And you just place a start and end. You can play it at any time. You can jump in, and then when you're done, you can save it, and you can upload it to the workshop if you want. All done in game, doesn't require any exiting to the Steam browser, nothing like that. It just drops it right in, and off you go. And I really like that. It's worked really, really well. And then you have the community levels where you can view the stuff that other people's made. So there's news here. There's featured levels, which are levels that I presume ThinkFast has pulled out of everything to say, hey, this is really cool. When you create a level, you actually choose the difficulty that you think it is, which is kind of nice. And levels are all rated. You can favorite levels. You can thumbs up, thumbs down them. So if you do that wrong, people, I'm sure, will call you out on it. But you can pick a random level. You can view your favorites. You have your profile here. The slots, I believe, are... Oh, community slots. Right, that's what it is by community slots. So these are levels that I can upload. You can delete levels that you have uploaded to the workshop. So by finishing additional levels, you unlock more community slots. So that's how that works. Okay, I see. And yeah, you can go to the featured levels. You can pick a random level, or you can just go and explore. And you can sort by popular, new, and top-rated stuff. And some of these things are very simple. Some of them are very gimmicky. Some of them are torture platformer levels for all intents and purposes. But as you can see here, they all have little previews previews, and there's no downloading. It's just let's go to one of the featured ones. So you just go in here, you pick a level, you hit go, and it loads you right in. There's no please wait while I'm downloading this. There's none of that stuff. It just jumps you right in, and off you go. And some of these are really clever and really innovative, and some of them are bloody hard, like just insanely difficult. And so you can see here, because we got this thing in here. Oh, jeez. Now, what am I missing here? Oh, geez. No. No. So I'm guessing what I have to do is get that. Well, that's not going to work. I obviously have to get that in there to get that thing, and then, oh, geez. So, but you can see here, and you can downvote it, upvote it, favorite it if you like, and there's achievements tied to a lot of community stuff and things like that too, which is kind of neat. So, wow, blah, blah. Let's look at this one. But you can see it's all very slick, and some games that have Steam Workshop support, it's not great. You know, you have to do a lot of stuff through a browser, and a lot of the times it doesn't work properly, or things are a little janky, or just not all that intuitive to deal with, or you have to wait for content to load in, all these other things. These guys did an excellent job. Everything is done directly within the game, and yeah, I kind of hosed that one, but all right, let's just upvote that. And you see I can view my own replay if I want, and like I said, you can view everyone else's replay. All seamlessly integrated, very nice. That's what I like about this, is everything is completely seamless. It's all built into the game. It's all very polished, very slick, very fast. Oh, clever. So because I didn't get all the blast points, it won't let me view the high score of someone who got all the blast points, because it doesn't want to spoil it, because it's like, hey, you got to figure this out before we're going to let you do that. So yeah, you can actually see there, it's denied the replay. I didn't know that. That is very cool. I really like that. It ensures that you won't get spoiled. But it does show you in the timeline there, you can see when he actually got a blast point. So there it is, and boom, that's where he got it, and then he flies over here, and wackadoo, there it is. You know what? I'm going to try that again, because it actually did spoil it for me, because I saw where the last blast point was. He didn't get it, but because of the way the level was designed, I still ended up seeing it, which I think is pretty amusing. So I like that. So yeah, it's a very, very polished package, this. It plugs in, everything plugs in super well, and hoot, and boom. I like it. There we go. You know what? Let's just favorite that. Let's be cool about that, because that was a good, that was neat. I like that level because it was fairly straightforward. And yeah, there's achievements for collecting a huge number of blast cubes, for beating community levels, for creating community levels, all those kinds of things. I saw a level the other day that was based around basically an outline of the original Mega Man sprite, which I was like, okay. I'm kind of surprised someone hasn't tried to duplicate World 1-1 from Super Mario Brothers yet, but give it time. I'm sure that will happen. Oh, dear God. Well, that got me to the end, but and it's still got World Rank 11, so yeah, so overall, I think this is really cool. I mean, very simple to learn, but hard to master. Some really neat mechanical ideas. It's simple. Yeah, it's simple to start. Simple. It looks simple, but it's a lovely presentation, and I'm really enjoying this. As someone who tends to burn out on puzzle games pretty fast, I kind of get, you know, most puzzle games, even the ones that I respect, I tend to flame out on real quick, but I've been enjoying this one quite a bit. So you see, here's the customization I unlocked, ball color and themes. You know, little things like that. I like it. It's kind of cool. The blue is kind of nice. I might actually try that one out. So, but I've been enjoying this. For $10, there's obviously a lot of content in here. You're gonna need to put some real time into it to get good at it, I think. If you don't have the patience for that, then that probably won't do it for you. But as a casual puzzle game goes, I think this is really neat, and I could see myself, you know, putting this in front of people, like I said, who don't really play games, and they could still get something out of it. And stretching that boundary of a game that can be both hardcore and accessible at the same time is very hard. And yeah, seeing that a group of young students managed to do this is impressive. I think these guys have some real talent, and I hope they go far. So yeah, that is Cublast HD, developed and published by ThinkFast Studio in 2017. This is on the PC on Steam. I have not checked to see if it's on Mac and Linux. Actually, yes, I just looked over. It is on Mac and Linux, so it's on all three of those. And they say it is coming to the Xbox One next year. So look for that there. And yeah, Cublast on mobile is available. It plays quite a bit different, and the scoring system works a fair bit different. I don't like it as much, but it's still fun. And if you want to, get an idea of what it's like, and you do own one of those, do own a mobile platform, it's free over there. So hey, why not, right? But yeah, this is a good time. And puzzle games don't always grab me, but this one most certainly did. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked what you saw here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That does help me out a great deal. If you want to watch something else, check out the videos on screen now, and don't forget to follow @PXA Media on Twitter to find out about new stuff first.